Hello Quilty Peeps, I'm Shelly. Welcome to my channel. I have a passion for all things quilting, and one of the things that I love about our community is how we love to share. That being said, I have made a couple of small wall hangings to give as gifts, and I want to share with you my process for machine quilting these wall hangings. Before we get to that, I do want to say this is the same process that I use no matter what size quilt I'm making, whether it's large or small. I like to pin baste. You can use whatever method you want on that. And then stitch in the ditch to secure your seams. And then I'm able to take all the pins out and go in and free motion the pretty stuff in. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. Please let me know if you have any questions and comments. Okay, here are the wall hangings. Let's talk about a little bit about how I put this together. So Our Lady of Guadalupe here, I got this fabric off of Spoonflower. I believe that the artist is Debbie Katie, but I'm not positive, but I'll put it in the notes correct. So I got this off Spoonflower, and then I am hand embroidered elements of this with Arfil 12 weight thread. Once I got my heart block together, I then machine appliqued this using the dryer sheet method, which I have a video on that. And I machine appliqued her down, and then I just put some borders around it. And you can see I did the same thing with this, and she's a little different on the hand embroidery. I will tell y'all this, if you want to give yourself a gift, get yourself a hand project. There's nothing like sitting and doing a little bit of hand sewing that just calms the mind. Okay, let's talk about how we're going to put this together. All right, I have my backing fabric. I'm actually using 2 layers of batting. I think this is 80-20. I'm pretty positive it is. Hobbs 80-20. I love using 2 layers of batting. It really pops your machine quilting. I will say this, I only do 2 layers of batting on something small. I mean, I live in Texas. I don't want to sleep under 2 layers of batting, number one. Number two, when you're free motion quilting on your domestic machine, you have to manage your bulk, and 2 layers of batting is a lot of bulk. So to get results that are good for you, you have to be careful and pick and choose what you use 2 layers of batting with. So, but this one is perfect size for 2 layers of batting. Okay. I'm a pin baster. Well, I've used every single method of basting. I come back to pin basting every time. I have used the 505 spray. Not a huge fan of that. I've used fusible batting. It's been 100 years. I really can't speak to that. I've made my own glut spray to spray on there. It was okay, but you have to wait for it to dry, so that wasn't that great. Quilter Select has this powder that you sprinkle on in the iron. That's fabulous, but here I've got 3 layers. I don't have normally 3 layers. I've got 4 layers. The quilt top, 2 layers of batting, and then, so I'm just going to pin baste these. And once these are pin basted, I'm going to go and start my stitch in the ditch. Okay, so when I pin baste, I generally pin baste the width of my fist. I'm going to put a little pin here. I'm going to start in the center. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it's harder to tell if it goes through on this when you have an extra layer of batting, but so, and also please notice I'm not going to pin baste over a seam that I'm going to stitch in the ditch. because you just, there's no need. Just, there are plenty of places to pin base without going on the seam you're going to sew. Ouch. All right, she's pin basted. I do want to say, if this were a big quilt, I would pin baste much more closely on the edges. Um, I'm not going to be scrunching this up, turning this around, and all that before I get the stitch in the ditch done. So I'm not having to worry about how close I pin here on the edges. But the next thing is we're going to go do our stitch in the ditch, and this is where I'm going to do it. I'm going to stitch in the ditch here, and I'm going to do all of this here, and then I'll go here, all of these, and then all of these. So all the pertinent lines. If this gets stitched, this gets stitched, because I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do some ruler work here, but I'm going to do some kind of probably ribbon candy here. I'm going to stitch this because I want it delineated. I want this to be its own space. So I'm going to go put my walking foot on and let's start stitching her down. I'm going to drop my stitch length very small and take a couple stitches. Okay, so I've got a brand new needle. I'm using a Top Stitch 90 needle. Got my thread is Orifil 50 weight. I have cleaned my machine. I've got the dark blue here in the top and in the bobbin. So I can start anywhere I want, basically. So I don't have to start in the middle, but actually at this point I'm going to. So come here. I'm going to put that needle down. Oops. Needle down right there. Take a couple stitches. Oops. And I want needle down. Okay, now as I'm very slowly just sewing around this, I am moving my needle so my stitch length is where I want it to be, which is, I like the default stitch length. When I turn my machine on, that works great for me. I'm going to take that stitch all the way down. Okay, before we start, I just want to demonstrate for you the motif that I'm putting in those outside skinny little borders. I just call this a spiky thingy. I don't know, that's just what I've always called it in my head. And I probably have put this motif on just about every quilt that I've made. Maybe not every one, but I'd say more than 90%. So this is what I do. I start from the bottom and I just do this. And I spike it, spike it, spike it, spike it, spike it, spike it. It's super easy and it looks great, particularly if you're going to have something curvy next to it. So let's go machine quilt. Again, I'm going to pull my bottom thread up to the top. Here we go. Okay, so the spikies are done on this one. I'm going to do the spikies on the other one, and then we're going to move on. Actually, you can see these a little better in this lighter fabric. Okay, let's move on to what we're going to do next. I'm sure you've seen this everywhere. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, just this little bouncy paisley. They're fun to do. They will mash this fabric down so that our lady can be puffed up. So let's go. You can see I'm going 3 times around. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go over here and go. Okay, you can see I'm right here. I could travel, and you know the lawn armors love to travel, but I don't really need to do that. I can tie off right here, start right here, and it'll be fast. So let's do that. Okay, I do the stitching the ditch is done on this wall hanging. Now I have to do this. What I wanted to put these side by side to point out to you is, look what your stitching the ditch does for you. Look, everything's all nicely secured. There's nothing loose here. Everything's all loose. Here, it's like, this is like having Spanx for your quilt when you give your quilt the gift of stitching the ditch. And then we can go put the pretty stuff in, and we don't have to worry about having loose seams like this. So I'm going to go sew her down in the stitching ditch, and I'll come back and we'll do some free motion. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and go, where am I going to go? Well, I've got this little piece here, so I need to get in here and get that flattened down. So I think I'm just going to do a little echo, another little echo, and keep on going from here. So echo here, and now let's do the paisley. Okay, I've got my machine threaded in the thread that I want to use. I have threaded my needle. I have my machine, my free motion machine quilting foot on, at least one of them that I have. My feed dogs are down. I put my gloves, well, I've got my gloves here. Come here. I'm going to pull my thread up to the top like that. Right there. Okay, I'm just put these gloves on. These are my new gloves. I have another pair that I use a lot that aren't quite as pretty as this, but for purposes of the video, let's use the pretty ones. Okay, Now I still need to come do this little small area here, and so I'm going to tie
So
off
I'm
and
going
do
to
that.
use like
I'm going to move my
start
hands
again here
medium or
and get that
to
taken
slow,
care of.
and
And
I'm going to. You can see how that
medium
dense
on the
quilting
foot
has flattened
pedal here.
that heart out, and she can really pop.
So let's go.
On our Rotary. I need my needle down. I am going to stop and check to make sure the back tension looks good. It does. Then I'm going to keep on going. Where am I here? If I need to stop and adjust my hand, I'm going to do that and keep on going. Okay, I'm at the end. I'm going to stop and tie off.
Look how
I know long armers hate to do that.
I'm going to get these threads out of the way, but you
on
can
a domestic machine, I don't mind doing that.
How really,
I don't want to have to travel over.
the quilting has
I would prefer to just taking the puff out of it so that she puffs up right here. Lots of good texture, y'all. Yay, let's keep on going. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to this side. Okay, next I'm going to do this little paisley heart, and because I'm going to use the same color thread that I already have. All right, got my thread changed. I'm ready to go in the corner. I'm going to do ribbon candy. I'm starting right here. Kind of going to go at an angle here. Okay, before I get my ruler out, before we do the ruler work, I'm just going to give myself some registration marks so I know where I'm going. I'm going to do this 3 times. I want 3 of these. So 3, 1 here, and 1 here. I'm just going to eyeball those. Do the same thing here. Kind of eyeball where that was. Okay, so I've got my marking. I've got my markings. I've got my ruler foot. Got my ruler. Put my gloves on the floor. Okay.
my neck. I'm just going to position this quilt. This is the easiest way to get me to this corner where I can see it. Now to the third one. And so I know this fabric is busy, but you can see where it changes the texture. So you have this curvy here, and then we have these straight lines here. So the contrast in the texture is what your eye likes. Okay, let's travel over here just a little bit. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put, I probably am just going to go, this is a very small space, so I'll probably just do one dot there, and here I'll do a couple of them, so that space is bigger. So, mark that right there. Mark that one, just give it a eyeball. And this one, I'm going to do it, I'm going to eyeball it. Okay, this is not a long way. I can just travel over to that corner. So the heart is done. The next thing I'm going to do is go change my thread. Ooh, yeah, yikes. Change my thread color, and we're going to do ribbon candy here, 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 and here. So let me go change my thread and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, that's a long way to travel. I mean, I could do it, but I'm just going to tie off and come back and do this one. I do this better left. I mean, I can do this up and down, but I do it better left or right. And in that case, I'm going to go at this angle. Plus, I can see it, and the camera angle is kind of weird, so this helps me. So let's go. I'm going pretty slow with my hands. I need to adjust, so I'll stop. And let's adjust. Okay, in this
Is it
case,
the
I am
smoothest
going to
move
try
I've ever
to the
made?
corner.
No, but
In the grand
if I
scheme
want
of
to
things,
start in the
you're
corner,
not
I'm
going
going
to
to
be
turn this
looking
the
at
other
that.
way.
You're just going to see that this is pushed down and the rest of it is puffed out. Let's see where I'm going. And you can see that this has given her some definition. Where are my orange scissors? All right, that was quick. The ribbon candy's done all the way around. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to curve up there, change my foot to my ruler foot.
I'm at a bottom thread.
And I'm going to do some dot to dot straight line quilting right here. Can I see it? Yes. So I'm going to machine quilt from here with my ruler to there to there. Wait, yeah, second line, wait, first dot, second line, and then third dot. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Where's that first one? Where are my threads? Okay, I can only do feathers one way, from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to stop, I'm going to tie off, and come do this other side. and then we'll talk about what we're going to do up here. And this continuous curve I can do any way in the whole wide world. I can go any direction in the world with this one. No, I'm going to just use this purple. And I'm just going to go right here. Just a little ribbon candy just all the way around here. And because I do not want to use my open toe machine quilting foot because it'll catch my embroidery, I'm just going to do it with my ruler foot. Is it ideal? No. But this is not that far around, and I want to give her some definition right here. So let's do that right here. Okay, so I've got my 1/4 inch foot on this because it's a smaller space in here. Yeah. I'm just going to do a little stitch in the ditch right next to this embroidery, just to give her a little more texture. Okay. As you can see, just goes around her, gives her some texture. At the very end, I'm going to put my walking foot, my 1/4 inch foot because it's littler, And I'm just going to go on the inside with some red thread. I just want to tack that down so you see. But so far so good. Now, next thing. And I actually think, oh, do I like this purple thread on here? Yeah, I kind of do. So this part, it's got these flowers going on. You're really not going to see a lot of whatever it is I do here. I just need texture. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to come in and mark a spine, and I'm just going to do a feather all the way across. It doesn't really matter what I put in here. I just need the texture because of this busy. So let's do that. Am I here? Yep. Let's go up. Okay. I've made myself a new bottom, so I'm just going to come do a feather just across here. Okay. Stitch length down to the very end. Okay. She's finished. She needs a border. All she needs now is a binding. Let me go get her bound. I'm going to finish machine quilting my other lady, and I will show you them finished. And this is what I did. I used 2 layers of batting. I did my stitch in the ditch. Then I came in and did very simple quilting. And the effect is just amazing.